Today we found out that Sony is making a Gravity Rush movie. So, no intro, let's just straight talk about it. This comes from Deadline. I saw this news on Twitter from Nibble. If you don't know who he is, follow him on Twitter. It's kind of like a mostly gaming news, but sometimes other stuff as well. Good account to follow for just a good update on things. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the Gravity Rush film that's coming from PlayStation Productions. So, a film that's based on the 2012 action-adventure video game of the same name, which Anna Mastro from Secret Society of Second Born Royals is attached to direct from a script by Emily Jerome from Panopticon. So, if you don't know what Gravity Rush is, it was basically a PlayStation Vita launch game. You control this character called Kat, who has the ability to manipulate gravity because of her cat named Dusty. It takes place in a city called Hexaville, and it was a really good game. It's probably the best Vita game, at least in the top 3 easily. And the game eventually got a remaster on PS4 called Gravity Rush Remastered. And fun fact about that game, it's actually rare to have the physical copy of it. They only got one official print through Amazon, and it retailed for $30 at launch. Now it goes for $50, $60 if you have one. I have one, didn't know it was going to become rare, so now it just sits there. I actually bought the game digital, so I don't have to touch the case or the disc ever again, because it's apparently rare. And they found more copies recently, but yeah, still a rare game. It goes for more than what it did day one, so went up in value. Great game. Probably one of my favorite PlayStation titles. It also received a sequel in 2017 called Gravity Rush 2, fittingly enough. And it was only on PS4 because by that point the Vita was dead. So they put it on PS4. Arguably the better game, but an unfortunate thing with Gravity Rush 2 is it's only 30 FPS. Gravity Rush was 30 FPS on the Vita as well, but the remaster it got from Bluepoint Games actually runs at 60 FPS on PS4, and it was 1080p, I think. It never got a 4K update or anything, but it's 60 FPS, 1080p, so it still looks fine for modern displays. The unfortunate thing, though, Gravity Rush 2 never got an update for PS5, so it's still stuck at 30 FPS even when you play it on PS5. So, unfortunate, because that's a really good game, but because of how fast it is, the gravity, the manipulation of it, 30 FPS just doesn't feel good. It was playable. I got the platinum, but I wish it was 60. I really wish that game was 60. I'm hoping this release can bring about a re-release of the game of some type. And the people that created Gravity Rush have left Sony because Sony shut down Japan's studio. They went off and formed their own studio called Bokeh Game Studio, and they're currently making a game called Splitterhead. I believe that's what it's called. It's not clear yet who will produce the film. PlayStation Productions does fall under Sony's umbrella, so it's unclear whether the pick will be distributed by the studio yet. Let's see if there's anything else here. It's kind of just going into the work that the people attached have done before. Yeah, there's not really much else to say here. I'm in complete shock that they're doing a Gravity Rush movie, because the franchise is basically dead. The last thing we got from Gravity Rush was the Raven DLC for Gravity Rush 2. That was the last thing we got, and Gravity Rush 2 underperformed drastically, so I feel like I was one of the few people that actually bought that game. It underperformed. It's a good game, it just wasn't advertised that well, and it didn't fit the mold of what Sony was pushing at the time. You know, your action-adventure, third-person shooter type game. This one was third-person and action-adventure, but it didn't have shooting elements. It was more of a combat, platforming type of adventure. So, unfortunately, it underperformed, and the franchise has just kind of been dead. A lot of people, like me, want Gravity Rush 3, but I don't see it happening because, 1, they shut down Japan's studio, and 2, the guy that made it left and recently went on to form his own studio, Bokeh Game Studio. But all hope isn't lost, because if this follows the recent trend we've seen with PlayStation's movies, this actually kind of bodes well for the future of the franchise in terms of gaming releases. So, for example, Ratchet & Clank came out in 2016, bad movie, but the game we got was good. Not great, but good. Game was very enjoyable. It was only 40 bucks, I think. And for 40 bucks, that was a steal. You had some of the best graphics on the system, fun gameplay, and it was cool to see the reimagining of certain levels. Of course, we know that game lacked like the amount of content that the original 2002 release had, but they apparently made that game in a year, and they only charged 40 bucks for it, so I'm not going to complain that much about it. And then we had recently the Uncharted collection, Legacy of Thieves specifically, released alongside the movie. So let's actually see. When did Uncharted came out? On February 18th. And Legacy of Thieves came out wow, I can't find it. Yeah, obviously 2022. Legacy of Thieves came out January 28th. So yeah, around the same time. Very close to the same time period. So so far what they've been doing with these movie releases is like cross-brand synergy, where they put out a movie and then they go and do a game re-release or a new title. So it's looking positive that Gravity Rush will at the very least get a re-release. They might do something simple like just advertise the game and say, hey, go check it out, it's on PS Plus Premium, or hey, it's on sale right now, go check it out. Or what I'm hoping they do at the least, put the first 2 games on PC, let them sell well, and then maybe have Sony reach out to a Bokeh Game Studio and have them license the IP to them to make a new Gravity Rush game. That one's out there. That one I don't know if it'll happen, but it's possible. And another franchise we know is getting an adaptation is God of War. Well, obviously God of War Ragnarok comes out later this year, so there's that. Last of Us Part 1, that's getting released in a few weeks, and that's supposed to coincide with the HBO show. We also know that there's a Jak and Daxter project. So the Uncharted director's next project is going to be Jak and Daxter. So by that same logic, that means we could probably be getting a re-release or new game for Jak and Daxter, something that we've been waiting at this point almost decades for. Almost. The last Jak game was The Lost Frontier, and we don't talk about that one. The last true Jak game was Jak X Combat Racing, and then you could probably count Daxter. That was 2006. So yeah, we're coming up to almost 2 decades since those games released. So I think it's fair enough that it's time for Jak to come back. So I'm hoping that the cross-brand synergy works again and we get a new release for Jak and Daxter as well. But as far as Gravity Rush goes, I'll be honest, I'm desperate for new Gravity Rush content. So hey, all the power to the people writing this movie. I don't know, I haven't seen any of these movies that they're saying the people connected to did, so don't know what the quality of them will be. Don't really care. All I care about at this point is get the film out there so you can cross promote the game, which I hope that they do. And again, I'm simple. If all they do to promote this movie is a PC release of Gravity Rush Remastered and Gravity Rush 2, hey, that's fine with me, because then I'll be able to play those games at higher than 60 FPS and at like 4K native resolution. So that's all I would need to be happy. Gravity Rush 3 would be great, but I've made peace with the franchise being dead. So I mean, hey, just re-release them on PC or on PS5 and I'm all good. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Yeah, we're getting a Gravity Rush movie. Did not expect to see this news today. Didn't expect to see Gravity Rush in the news again ever, really. But they're making a movie. I mean, if this is an animated movie, maybe then I'll be a little bit more excited. But if this is live action, let's not push our luck with video game movies. We've got 2 good Sonic movies in a row. The Uncharted movie was okay. Let's not push our luck. So that's all I got to say. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.